Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you folks doing? Welcome here and welcome back to the only podcast with no name. It's the UnNamed Wrestling Podcast, if I can actually say the name right. We've got Botch Guy over here. We've got CWrestling as well here in the live stream today, and I got my audio playing in the background, so a great start to the stream. Botch Guy, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good, man. The UnNamed Wrestling Ramcast is going to be great today. Can't wait to be a part of it.
Everyone in the chat, tell me what it is I just said, because I don't even know. It was not English. CWrestling, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. I'm tired, so I'm surprised that I'm the one not getting my words mixed up yet.
Yeah, like what's up with that, C? How come you didn't get to sleep tonight?
Well, first of all, it's Botch Guy's fault. He kept calling me. And then I ended up watching Star Trek Voyager for like 12 hours.
Oh, dude. Star Trek. You'll get lost in the sauce up there, won't you?
Oh, definitely. It's like the third time I've watched the series as well.
I don't know what I'm saying right now. This is a weird start to the podcast.
What up, chat, baby?
Oh, everyone, I bet you are pumped for today. Any stream that I can't speak usually leads to some funny moments. First, there was the sharpshooter when I tried to say the sharpshooter, and now we're going on with this. But today...
Sharpshooter?
Oh, yeah, it was a rough go 3 years ago.
Is that what happens every morning? You got to do a sharpshooter?
A big old sharpshooter. I got to run up and deliver a big old sharpshooter. But today, guys, we're going to talk about another man who took a big old sharpshooter on the wrestling business in the form of AEW. It's Cody Rhodes. This man has turned everyone on their heads and just completely made us think, where are we going? What are we going to see? Where is Cody Rhodes going to end up? So that is the discussion here today. So Botch Guy, we're going to start off with you because the speculation is running wild. Where do you think Cody Rhodes is ending up?
Cody Rhodes is going to be going to the WWE.
Bold.
I do feel that he's going. I don't know what they're gonna do. Probably gonna debut as Stardust. Maybe be in a tag team with Madcap Moss probably by the end of the year, and then float out of existence. No, in all seriousness, I feel like there is so much potential that could be done. And I'm telling you, they need to do a storyline that has Cody Rhodes and Triple H in it. I don't care if it's Cody Rhodes against Triple H or it's Cody Rhodes and Triple H. I just want to see something like that happen. I will say that, damn, you're getting flowing with some donos here. Train. Okay, sorry.
Choo choo. Hop on the dono train.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you think he's going WWE? Really insightful stuff from Botch Guy.
I talked for like 30 seconds, man.
I know. Well, we'll get back to you we'll have some more speculation from the Botch Guy. But what about you?
Why do you always wear the same hat?
That's a good question for another day. CWrestling. CWrestling. What about you? Where do you think
bitch
he's going?
I'm 50-50. I think it's a toss-up, obviously, of going back to AEW or WWE. I'm not sure.
Botch Guy calling me out like that. Come on.
Honestly, I think this could be a work. That's why I'm 50-50.
So, work for AEW?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what leads you to believe that, possibly?
So, there was the interview with Kenny, and Kenny basically said, he's on his way to Saudi. But he wasn't. He never was. Then it came out later that night he was in Orlando. So Kenny sort of threw a curveball there. There was the whole thing with Tony Khan. Tony Khan refusing to comment on it. Why? Maybe because you don't want to slip up. And then the Young Bucks did a skit where at the end they said, well, what happened with Cody? Now, yes, they're being comical, but what if they're actually saying, what's happened with Cody? Nothing's happened with Cody. Like, with him teasing retirement as well, I do wonder if it's just all a work.
Mm-hmm. See, I was wondering that too because it was being announced that Cody Rhodes was wrestling as the TNT champion without a contract. And that got the rumor mill starting like, oh, is Cody going to re-sign? Is he going to be the big free agent acquisition from AEW, which ended up being Keith Lee? There was lots of questions around Cody before his contract truly came to an end. And now all of a sudden, once he has quote unquote left, the speculation is even bigger. If this was a work for Tony Khan and AEW, it's a magnificent work. And I think lots of people will be impressed if they pull it off. Botch Guy, do you think it's a work? Impressed, yes, impressed.
People will lose their balls, okay? They will lose their mind, and I'm not talking about in a happy way. They would be so pissed. I can't even imagine how bad the reception would be if Cody Rhodes shows up on AEW. Oh,
I
of
course.
course. Do you know how pissed off people would be?
You really think they'd be pissed off, eh?
Oh, I am a million. The credibility of AEW would take such a shot. It would be insane. There's no way this is a work. No offense, see, but like if they did that, I think people would be pissed beyond words. So I heavily disagree with you, Connie.
Well, I mean, it's okay if we disagree. I don't know if it's a work or not. Like, I legitimately don't. I don't think people would be upset, though. I think there would be a portion of a fan base that is upset, but I think there would be more people who would be excited to see another evolution of Cody. Think about it. For a long time in AEW, Cody was the face of the Revolution. He was the face of that company. And it slowly but surely unfolded for him and unraveled. He started going into this Cody-verse where he was wrestling against like QT Marshall and it was whatever, Paul White, having these celebrity matches with Shaq, and he really wasn't a part of AEW in that way until he started getting back to the feuds with Malachi Black, getting back to the feuds with Sammy Guevara. And I wonder if this is because he saw the writing on the wall with him not having the AEW World title to be able to go towards. If his contract was ended and he was released, that might allow him to come back and challenge for the AEW World title, and it gets them out of that little loophole. So, will people be upset? Some, yes. I don't think everybody would be upset, though. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the AEW fan base would love to boo Cody Rhodes at this point, would they not?
No, I disagree. I think that... Okay, so I don't want to label AEW fans. I want to label the extreme AEW fans of Twitter. And you've seen the worst of them since Cody's left. Like, they've sent the dude death threats. Like, what? Because he's left AEW? It's pathetic.
But doesn't that just back up the point that they want to boo him right now? That they want to hate him?
No, they're just upset he's left AEW. If he went back to AEW, I think you've got that problem of this is your fan base that have wished you death. Now they're loving you again. And I think Cody's ego wouldn't like that. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like the AEW fan base is not a bad fan base. It's just, and I think it's just like, I feel like you can't label one, like for example, like exactly what C said when it comes to like, there's the Twitter AEW fans, then there's the casual AEW fans, you have the normal watching TV audience AEW fans, then you have the WWE fans, you have the Twitter WWE fans, you have the YouTube WWE fans. Even though they're all wrestling fans, I feel like they're all completely different entities. Like it's like the Vancouver Canucks. I'll give you a perfect example. The Vancouver Canucks Twitter is like the craziest Twitter. Like we complain about everything at all times. Would win a Stanley Cup and we'll complain.
That's what we do. Drove the Sedins out of town.
But makes no sense.
I know,
but the Leafs
almost okay. We'll say Luongo.
But the Toronto Maple Leaf fans, for example, are worse than us in every single way. But that's not the point, including Conman, because he's a Leaf fan.
Hey, no.
But I'll just say this: it's different entities when it comes to wrestling things. So I don't like labeling like this is AEW and this is WWE. This is WWE. This is AEW. But I will say this: the WWE and AEW need to figure out their social media a little bit here, because I do feel like remember when I went on Twitter, everybody's talking about how like, watch out, Botch Guy, this is the IWC. Oh, that's a nice one.
We'll get around to that in a hot moment. Thank you, Dante.
The IWC, you know, or the Twitter is just so toxic. You're gonna get attacked and spammed. I've had no negativity at all on Twitter from like towards me. So I think because I act nicely and respectfully, people do that back. I just feel like there's a lot of controversial topics in wrestling, which causes a lot of toxicity.
You trying to sound like Conman, being unable to speak right there?
You say toxic. toxicity.
Toxicity?
No, it's toxicity, isn't it?
No, toxicity.
No.
Oh, is it toxicity?
Toxicity or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, that's my point.
All right, yeah, good points. Yeah, and I 100% agree with that statement where there's lots of different fan bases out there, and wrestling Twitter is not just one fan base, and it's got a completely wide range of people. You know, we've got a great community here who is generally very nice on Twitter. Don't really have any issues with people in this chat, don't have issues with your guys' community, so there's good people out there who like both WWE and AEW. Just the last few months of Cody Rhodes in AEW, he was getting booed heavily, which tells me that the fan base was turning on him at the time. And no matter how many times he went into babyface mode where he cut the most epic babyface promo, by the end of the night, people were still saying, oh my God, I'm tired of Cody Rhodes. Oh my God, this character is too much. I'm done with him. So I do believe there's a good portion of the AEW fan base that is already ready to boo him. And if this was the work, if it was a work, I think there could be some electricity in AEW as a result. But I mean, let's say if this is not a work. Let's say if Cody Rhodes is going somewhere. We talked briefly about WWE, so there is a couple places he could end up in WWE. Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. What's the best fit for him, do you think, CWrestling? Oh, all right. One sec. Sorry, you're right. I got to get around to these donos. So we'll get back to that comment in just a sec. So Rondo Slice says, name the stream WrestleCon news. All hail Rhodes. We got the UnNamed Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast with no name, which I got to put on a t-shirt somewhere. But yes, all hail Rhodes, my man. He is the king of wrestling news at the moment. Everybody is talking about him. Jason Barker said he just pre-ordered WWE 2K22. He hoped it's good. CWrestling, did you pre-order it?
I haven't yet. Payday's Friday.
Paydays Friday. All right. I just pre-ordered it last night. Botch Guy, you going to get it?
You weren't going to ask me. I was going to be like, why did you ask me? No, not yet. But I'm going to be one of those people. I'm going to watch the reviews first. And if it tickles my fancy, I'll get it. But most likely I'll get it anyway. Because
why don't you, cheap plug, why don't you watch Conman's content and see if you like it there?
Ah, love that.
You know what? That is the cheapest of cheap plugs, and I love it. Yes, I will do that. Actually.
Where do we watch it, fellas?
Con Games,
Yeah.
which is his new gaming channel. Please support Con Games.
Thank you, Botch Guy. I love you, buddy. I think I just said brother and buddy at the same time. Bruddy. It's the new word here on the UnNamed Wrestling Podcast.
If you guys don't subscribe to Con Games, I will not be friends with either of you guys.
So far today, we've had the UnNamed Wrestling Podcast. We've had toxicity or whatever it was you said, and now we got that word. Dante is the last donation here before we get back to the conversation. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it.
Botch Guy should talk slowly. Someone said, excuse me? I am known for my talking fast. Stop interrupting me, Con.
Yeah, you're interrupting me.
Rant in the chat. No, I can't talk slowly. That's the last time I'll interrupt Con, but that's not true. But
no, it's not true. Not at
this
all.
Is how I talk. Like, what's going on here? Anyways, continue.
So if Cody Rhodes is going to WWE, he should be in NXT, says Dante, and go after the NXT North American title. I do think it's a work, and Cody will be at AEW in the background, making sure things run smoothly. So he thinks he's going to take on more of a backstage role with AEW, which, honestly, him saying that does make some sense. He's got his Roads to the Top show. He's got a lot of other stuff going on in his life. And with Botch Guy, I think it was saying that he was teasing retirement, or was that CWrestling? One of you guys. See, okay, so teasing retirement, maybe he is, possibly. But thoughts. So we were just about to talk about NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, so we can go into that. Do you think he would be a good fit in NXT, or should he go to the main roster, guys?
Never NXT. I think if WWE land Cody, they need to roll out the red carpet and say, hey, look, we're no hard feelings, no bad blood. Come here. You're a mega star, push him to the moon. Because the truth is, if Cody goes to WWE, he's got a lot of friends in AEW. And if he can say to those friends, hey, WWE's good, maybe they consider going there too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what was it? When WWE first started to lose the talent back in like 2015, 2016, I think that's around the time where Cody Rhodes walked away. There was this term being used called cracks in the wall, and the cracks in the wall were starting to show with WWE. Do you think this is the start of the cracks in the wall in AEW? Like what you just mentioned there, he could bring some people over with him. Is this a sign? Is this writing on the wall?
I think the cracks in the wall started the moment they just keep bringing in WWE superstars over and over and over. Like if you're getting released from the WWE and you're a prominent name, I think they're going after you. And that sounds great in theory, but eventually you're going to oversaturate. You're going to have too many people and not enough TV time, and you're going to upset a lot of people. I think that's mostly what I think about the cracks. Now, this is definitely another one, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I don't want AEW to not do well. I want AEW to flourish because there's a lot of great people that work in AEW. Oh my God, am I turning face for AEW?
I think you are right now. Yes.
There's a lot of good people that work in AEW and a lot of good wrestlers as well, and the fans are mostly pretty decent, right? So I don't know. I feel there's cracks coming. I feel the ratings went down a bit. I think that's a worry, especially Rampage.
What are their ratings at right now? I haven't looked in the last few weeks.
I'll go see. All yours.
So I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I know Rampage was on before SmackDown, and they expected higher numbers, and it went down 100K. It was 470K.
Yeah, so them expecting higher numbers is weird because the West Coast, some people are still at work at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like that, I don't know why they would have expected, it not to drop. I bet you there was easily 100K people at work still in the West Coast. I don't know why they thought it should have raised.
They've always blamed the time slot of 11 p.m. Eastern. That time slot's dead. That they've always used that excuse, and I think to be on earlier, I think the dirt sheets AEW really did expect a big old bump, and they didn't get it. And that was weird because they had Jay White on, and although I think a lot of like casual wrestling fans probably don't know who he is, I do believe he is a draw. I do believe there's a large portion of wrestling fans who know who he is.
And let's say this right now. If he's not a draw in North America right now, he will be someday. He is that good. He will get over. But you're right. He's not a big enough draw at the current moment to make people truly tune into Rampage, especially, and this is where Rampage is struggling because of it. It's a taped show. The people that have already seen the spoilers online might not tune into it. It's exactly what NXT in their 1 hour slot on Wednesdays used to deal with. Rumors would get out, leaks would get out, people wouldn't really watch the show, but they'd tune in for the big events. And AEW is kind of copying that sort of mold right now, especially when it comes to Rampage. You had that one live show, I think, with CM Punk, and that drew their biggest numbers yet, right? So if it was a live show, I think they would be better, but there's no way to make that a live show.
I would say SmackDown this week was pre-taped, and that went up. That was 2.2.
Wasn't it, though, because it was a go-home show for a pay-per-view? That being the reason it would have went up? Usually they go up.
Very possibly, yeah. But I still say the spoilers were everywhere. Even WWE tweeted out the spoilers.
True.
They wasn't hard to find if you wanted to see them. If you just went on social media, I think on Saturday, Sunday, they were there. So...
So, very true. So we're talking about Cody going to NXT. CWrestling says absolutely no. Botch Guy, do you think Cody should go to NXT?
NXT?
Yep, NXT. We're going to start there. No? Yes?
No.
And why not?
It's NXT.
There you go. That's all we got to say. All right, so let's bring on the real conversation. Raw or SmackDown, and why? We'll kick it off with Botch Guy.
That was my falsetto? Is that what it's called? You know what? SmackDown has enough. Even though SmackDown probably makes more sense, I'm gonna go with Monday Night Raw. They need some sort of storyline with Triple H and Cody to drive that product. They need some sort of feud of AEW, WWE, not without saying it, but like doing little word trickery, right? Which I will gladly catch on the Botch Guys YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Yeah, it's I'm gonna go with Monday Night Raw.
And CWrestling, how about you? Raw or SmackDown?
SmackDown. Only because at WrestleMania we're gonna merge the titles, so Roman's gonna go on both shows. That's what's gonna happen. And if you're taking the Roman off of SmackDown maybe for a while he does programs on Raw, you need a name on SmackDown, because apart from Drew McIntyre, who else is there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm really trying to think right now who it's the women's division that's carrying SmackDown right now, other than Roman, I would say. So otherwise, unless they start to focus even more on the women, but like even then, Becky Lynch, you could say, is the biggest star WWE has right now, and the biggest feud going on could be considered Bianca versus Becky, in terms at least of what the WWE's been putting on since SummerSlam, right? So yeah, interesting. Yeah, maybe SmackDown's a good place. I'm gonna agree with Botch Guy though. I think Raw is the place for him to go. If you can't do Triple H versus Cody, which should be the match if Triple H is good to go, if his health issues are all okay. He had that heart attack or something along the lines of it however long ago. So hopefully he's all good and he could return to the ring. But let's say he's not able to. Let's say the Triple H match can't exist. You guys are going to laugh at me, but what is Damian Priest's finisher again? Isn't it very similar to the Crossroads? And didn't Cody have issues with Damian taking his finisher a couple years back? I believe I remember something along those lines.
That's really hardcore wrestling news. Like I had no idea, but you have to be like super into wrestling to know that though.
And what does Cody have on the side of his neck? A giant skull with an American flag painted on it. And what did Damian Priest just ask for at WrestleMania? A world caliber challenger. World title caliber challenger in someone. Cody versus Damian might not seem like the most exciting match on paper, but a run with the United States Championship, Cody being the guy to take the title from Damian, could be hella entertaining on Monday Night Raw. Thoughts?
No, thank you.
I thought that was good.
I'd rather have the Demon versus Damian, thank you. That'd be great.
So you think that's going to get pushed all the way to Mania, though? Because we're getting that next week on Raw, right?
Well, we're getting ordinary Finn Balor on Raw. We could do Demon versus Damian.
Yeah, I see that coming too. I love Damian Priest, and I want him to have a gigantic match, and him against Cody would be fun.
I will tell you how to do the Damian of the Priests. Listen up, Buttercup. You have the Demon Balor, great. Then Damian Priest hints on a different side of him. Now, he's had this dual kind of evil light. So I think they should paint his ass. Paint once all the way straight down. One side will be black. One side will be white. Like, paint him down the middle like some cool demonic, like whatever. And then have that match between the demon and the whatever, call him the angel of Destiny. I don't know. Whatever. Right? And then have him come out in his cool new gimmick, and he has the zombie form as well. Like his
zombie form from the zombie match.
He has his new form. Like that will be his new form. That will be his Demon Balor form that he breaks out once in a while. You just put it in the middle and you split it out. And then wings come out, right?
Yeah, so like paint him half good, half evil is kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah. But have you guys ever played the game Diablo?
Yep.
Like, you know, like the main villain is Diablo.
Nah, I've played like two chapters or whatever they're called. But yeah, I've played it enough to know that.
It's very like dark and like kind of like cryptic, but like really cool, and like the main character, like that's what I'm going for, man. I think that'd be cool. Like the light, the angels and the darkness put together type thing. I think that would be a sick gimmick. It's the best gimmick ever.
You're getting called out in the chat saying that's even worse than my United States title idea.
What was your idea?
Oh, having Cody win the U.S. title. It'd be representing the United States champion. Like, he's got the American flag on the side of his neck. Like, go full Captain America, man.
Oh, you want him to have the shield too?
Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's get the Nightmare Family logo on the shield.
I'm coming back to the WWE. Vince, we don't want you. Sorry, I got my shield.
Yo, do it. I would love to see him use a Captain America shield as a
Drew
weapon.
McIntyre can finally use his sword.
Hey, there we go.
They can actually have a fight.
Could have sparks fly off the shield, like make it an epic moment.
The American Captain.
Some people in the chat are saying Cody versus Edge. I mean, that would be fun. Do not get me wrong. But I think I want to see Styles versus Edge more this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me Styles Edge and give me Cody's Triple H some storyline.
Yeah. Cody versus Wendy Chu. Book it, Vince.
He's going to come back. The galaxies have waited for you. And now they have come, and they have like little shooting stars hit the stage. It's Stardust.
It's Stardust. Yeah. Ha! Right back. Yo, okay, let's be real. The internet would break if Cody Rhodes returns as Stardust.
What they should do is they should have someone debut. They should do a little promo like Stardust returns next, and we're all like, no, like bring someone out as Stardust. Dress up Akira Tozawa. It's fine. Bring him out as Stardust and Cody attack Stardust.
Akira Tozawa as Stardust. Oh my god.
Why not? Could you imagine that 5 minutes of the commercials when they literally tell us Stardust returns next? We're like, oh my god, they've done it.
Hey, what's Akira Tozawa doing? Is he still chasing that toy? Yeah, just put on that.
It can't be worse than him being a ninja. It's not like it can't be.
You're right. It can't be worse. No, you're right.
The sad thing is, by the time you come back from commercial, Botch Guy will have a video up. Oh my god, they've got Stardust back! Every fan's reaction! And then you actually miss the thing with actual Cody Rhodes returning.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. I'd be ranting on stream for 5 minutes, but oh my god, I can't believe they actually did this.
I promise, if Cody Rhodes came back anyway with Stardust being mentioned, that is an everybody's WWE's reaction video 1,000,000%.
Let's do Veer versus Stardust in his first match back. There we go.
Oh fuck, that was so funny.
Oh my god. So in the chat, guys, do you think WWE should have Cody come back as Stardust? Yes or no? Oh my
Bring back
goodness.
the Ascension as well. What are they doing recently?
Oh yeah, the Cosmic. What were they called? The Cosmic Wasteland? Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think that's what it was called. Yeah.
Didn't they come out when Mad Max was very popular? Or
Yeah,
like,
right around there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was like their.
I can just imagine like Vince McMahon talking to him. All right, now we need to come up with a gimmick, and some guy's like, "Well, hey, have you watched Mad Max yet? Oh, you guys are the Cosmic Wasteland. Let's go with that."
Oh god damn it, pal! This is such good shit.
This is such good shit there. Hey, watch your language. This is a podcast.
You're right. This is a rated G podcast. It's for everyone. Except for when Botch Guy starts swearing underneath his breath like he did 5 seconds ago.
I never swear.
No, Botch Guy's clean. He's the PG guy. That's what he is.
2 years? Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago, I used to swear every video. Dropped an F-bomb on every single video I did. YouTube did not like that very much.
So let's talk about a couple other places that Cody could potentially end up. So we've mentioned WWE, and we went through all of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. We all kind of agree he shouldn't touch NXT. Raw or SmackDown would make a lot of sense. Let's talk about some other companies, though, that are out there. The NWA has a lot of history with the Rhodes family. And do you think that Cody could be looking to step into like another role where it's like he's going to be more in charge of a promotion, be like the main booker, want more of that responsibility? Because like apparently the reason he left AEW is because he lost creative control. So someone like the WWE isn't going to offer that much creative control unless there's something special in the contract for whatever reason. A company like NWA would. So your thoughts on maybe the NWA? Is this a legitimate possibility for him? CWrestling?
No, not today. Maybe 20 years ago, but nowhere near today. Like NWA hasn't got the drawing power, and I don't think it's even got the money for Cody. Like I know you said about the creative and everything, but it's also there's the reports out there that he wanted $3 million from Tony Khan. Tony Khan said no. NWA is not going to pay him anywhere close to that.
Agreed. What about you, Botch Guy? Do you think the NWA is a legitimate possibility?
No.
And for all the same reasons CWrestling just said?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. And there's another company that is in the rumor mill for Cody Rhodes as well. It's a company that closed its doors for a little bit in 2021 and is looking to get back into the game sooner rather than later. And that company is Ring of Honor. Cody Rhodes does have a connection to Ring of Honor. He legitimately left the WWE, did all his indie work, and then with the help of Ring of Honor, helped put on that 10,000 sold-out arena show. Was it All In? That was the first one, I believe. So that was through the help of Ring of Honor. That was through their affiliation. Cody Rhodes has clearly shown that he wants to grow independent wrestling. And if in his mind, for whatever reason, he thinks AEW is straying away from what he wanted or it's not fulfilling for him, maybe starting up with a company that could use somebody like Cody Rhodes in their backstage management would be a good way to go. So I guess it's kind of the same deal as the NWA. The negatives would be it's not on TV, or at least it doesn't have a national broadcast deal. So what do you guys think? Could he end up in Ring of Honor, or all the same reasons that he won't end up in NWA?
No. No chance. There is zero. He's going to the WWE. He's going back to AEW. Or he's retiring. Those are the only three things that could possibly happen with him.
Hollywood could be an option too for him. Like it would be part-time retiring from the ring, but Hollywood, he's stepping into that Hollywood area as well. Do you think maybe that would be a reason to be?
Has he acted before?
It's a good question. I don't know if he's been in any movies or not, but he's been on some reality TV shows recently, and it makes me wonder if one of the reasons he's tempted to come into WWE is because of someone like The Miz. You look at Miz and Maurice and what they're doing in the WWE. If he wants to get into Hollywood, if he wants to get into reality TV, the WWE offers a very easy step. So do you think that's maybe something that is tempting him there?
I'd say so. I mean, you look at Corey and Carmella. Whatever you might think of the show, they've found a platform for it. Like Road to the Top, okay, that was its own thing. I never watched an episode. But if WWE wanted to do something similar, they don't need a TV deal. They can just put it on YouTube, put it on Peacock. They could do many different things where AEW, I don't know if they've got the ability to do that yet.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Botch Guy? Do you think that's a possibility why Cody would be tempted by the WWE, the reality TV aspect? Yeah,
it's just another wrinkle into it. I think he wants the attention, man. WWE will give him the spotlight, especially if he comes back. He'll have all that spotlight on him. I would really love to see how they work that deal and how the contract would be laid out. Like, is there going to be like a no Stardust policy, for example? Like, how could they do it so they don't completely bury him once when he shows up there?
We got to remember also, Stardust was Cody Rhodes' idea back in the day, but they just didn't execute it properly. Like, that was his idea. He pitched it. So he liked the character. He just didn't like the booking. But yeah, it might be written in there that no Stardust character for some reason. Okay, guys, let's go over to the mailbag because there's some people that do have some questions for us here today. So the first one here is from Big Tiger. He says, do you think Vince is going to pay to get his AEW theme, or are they going to use his old one? What do you guys think? Would he get a new theme, old theme, paid to get his AEW theme? What do you think?
I think he will get his old, beautiful theme back.
Wow! That one?
Yeah. Smoke.
Never do that again.
Mirrors.
I will never do that again. What about you, CWrestling? What do you think?
I think it'll be his old WWE theme. Let's not lie. Budget cuts have been on the tip of everyone's tongue for months. They're not going to pay out for a theme song.
Yeah, that's a good
it's
point.
It's not as iconic. Like it's not like you're buying Roman Reigns' theme song, right? Like, yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's not quite iconic enough yet to make it. Certainly not iconic in the WWE world, right? A lot of people would say it's recognizable in AEW, but nobody would really truly know it in WWE. I think more people would pop for Smoke and Mirrors. So that's a good one there. Do I think Cody versus Triple H will happen at WrestleMania? So we discussed this a little bit, but let's go with a yes or no answer for Jeffrey Rudolph. Botch Guy.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll say this: if he's gonna be here for WrestleMania, if he's actually gonna have a match at WrestleMania, it's gonna be either Cody Rhodes versus Triple H or Cody Rhodes versus like some sort of storyline involving Triple H. Triple H wants to come on. This is WrestleMania. It's he wants to have a match or he wants to be involved somehow. So I would be 100% down with Cody versus Triple H. Let's go with a yes for fun.
So CWrestling, he has a yes, Botch Guy. What about you though?
I'm gonna say no, only because I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think Triple H will be medically cleared to wrestle.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at as well, man.
I forgot he got hurt, or he had
that heart issue that he had a little bit ago. So
like,
if he is good to go, then yes, I think that's the match. I think that is a bona fide Mania match. But if he's not cleared, I don't know necessarily who. I'm sticking with Damian Priest. Go against Priest, but I don't actually know who he would face at WrestleMania. We got another one here. This one is from Jesse Kalen. Says, how would you feel if it's all a swerve and Cody did go back to AEW? CWrestling, let's start with you.
I think it would be genius in the sense of they have, like right now we're talking about it. Everyone is talking about Cody Rhodes and they've got everyone's attention for it. So it would have been genius for that. I think if the dirt sheets are in on it, I think that's really going to play on a lot of people's minds because they're never going to trust the dirt sheets ever again. Mm-hmm. Like that could be really bad for someone like Sean Ross Sapp, for example, who you pay a subscription for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
That kind of stuff. I think fans will turn on that. I think there will be a portion of the audience that hates the fact it's a swerve. I agree with what Botch Guy said before. And I would be happy with it in the sense that, yes, it's worked me, but at the same time, was it necessary?
Mm-hmm. I'd be sad for WWE because this is the first time in a little bit that WWE's had a lot of excitement around a possible debut, right? It's been a bit. I want to say the last one that truly jumps to mind was AJ Styles back at the Royal Rumble in 2016. That's the last time that I really say the WWE fans are overly excited for somebody new coming into the company or a big person coming in. So I'd be sad for WWE if this doesn't end up happening. Be sad if we don't see Cody Rhodes on WWE TV. But for AEW TV, I think this would be thrilling to watch unfold if this was a work. We mentioned at the start of the pod where people will be angry. I think people will be angry, though, at the character of Cody Rhodes on TV, and it will make for some magic moments. Just like I can't help but feel it would be so much fun to watch him go after the world title against Hangman Adam Page. Like I legitimately think that would be so much fun to watch after all this. But I'd be okay either way, honestly. But it would be fun to see it unfold in AEW, no doubt about it. Anything else that you guys want to bring up before the end of the podcast here today?
Yeah, when's Bocce versus Tucky WrestleMania match gonna happen?
At Barkmania. Can we get some dog emojis in the chat for that lovely Bocce right there?
Bocce, get out of here. Beat it.
As he kicks the dog out of the room.
Get out of here. You had enough. I used your time wisely. Why'd you ask me? I had a very important thing to say about the Cody Rhodes thing.
All right, let's go back to it then. Go right back to it.
I'll just remind me what the question was.
Would you be up, or how was it? It was, I've lost the question now because I clicked off of it. Something about Cody Rhodes. Would you be upset if it was a work going to AEW? Would you be upset? Or how would you feel?
It's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. I personally wouldn't be upset. I think it would be hilarious to read everybody else being upset. Like me personally, I would think it would be pretty kind of entertaining. I'm not this massive Cody Rhodes guy. I just feel a storyline between him and Triple H. Have I mentioned that yet? Would be just the greatest thing ever when it comes to a build-up. It kind of reminds me of when Batista came and attacked everybody, and he showed up. Like, I think Cody Rhodes doing something like that, that was so creative, by the way, the Batista. Like, they don't do stuff like that anymore. I don't know why. So I personally wouldn't bad, but the reaction, yeah, I think people would be pissed. No doubt about it.
So let's take it to the live chat. Would you be upset if this was a work? If this was all the work and AEW was re-signing Cody Rhodes and he ended up going there again? Would you be upset, yes or no, in the live chat? But while they're answering that, it is time for Botch Guy and CWrestling to plug away. So, Botch, what do you got coming up on your channel or going on right now?
Thank you for this opportunity to talk about my YouTube channel. That's very diplomatic, right? Okay, he's gone. Whew. Sorry. Okay, so it's been an interesting week for my YouTube channel. I'm sure people in here that do watch my channel have noticed that I started a new series. I've been doing it now for a couple months, and it's been going very well. It's called Every WWE Fan Reacts, and I apparently people really enjoy it. So I'm really happy about that. So I'll probably have another one of those on Monday when Veer doesn't show up again. Also, if anything big happens, I can always do a video like that. As for video wise, I just have my usual stuff that I do. I haven't done a Did You Catch That in a while, just because there hasn't been really anything. I had my usual reactions, and if I ever see something that's interesting to talk about, like the teases or something, I'll do videos on those. So that's basically it. Just more of the usual, the same. Oh, I would like to mention, you know what? I would like to mention, if possible, I'm actually going to be pushing my Twitter this week a little bit.
So where can we find that Twitter?
Yeah, so I'm going to link it right there. I just linked it right now.
And what's your at? It's at Botch_Guy?
Yes. Twitter.com Botch_Guy. If you guys are not on my Twitter yet, feel free to follow me on there. I'd really appreciate it. That would be really nice of you guys. And that's it. That's basically the gist of it.
We have a poll going on in the chat right now, so it's a little easier for us to see if people would be upset or not if Cody was going back to AEW and it was all the work. Right now, no is leading with 68%, but it's early on in the poll, so get your guys' votes in there. CWrestling, what do you have going on your channel or coming up?
Much of the same things you might have missed every Monday, Friday pay-per-view. We just did a Bray Wyatt video yesterday, which is really cool. I like to do Bray Wyatt videos, you might have noticed. Obviously, we're keeping a close eye on Alexa Bliss and what she's doing, hopefully next week in her hometown on Raw. That would be interesting. If
she's in her hometown, eh?
Yeah, it's in her hometown back in Ohio. So hopefully, there's something big. We'll see.
That would be lots of fun. CWrestling, any bold predictions for Alexa in her hometown?
I have no idea what they're doing with that character. I honestly can't lie.
So for the first time, has CWrestling been stumped by a character?
I wasn't expecting her to come out at Elimination Chamber, the old Alexa Bliss, at all. Mm-hmm. I was expecting more of the goddess, because and with Lily, to be fair, after that last therapy session. So
yeah, she didn't have Lily with her. Do you think it was just WWE being short-sighted with the story? Like, they feel like there's more of a story unfolding, and they just wanted her to be in the chamber, and they didn't know how to present her? Do you think that's more the case with this?
I don't think so, because they had the swing and everything ready to go. Like, that kind of stuff's normally planned. I would think they were on the Titantron. I think it's a giveaway. It's the old style Alexa Bliss render, and I think the therapist said when you're with Lily, you'll be whole, and I think that means she'll be that Alexa Bliss when she's with Lily.
Right.
But when she's not, she's a bit wacky, doing her crazy old Alexa Bliss stuff. That's my first thoughts. But again, we don't know yet.
Can we just say it? Like, okay. Maybe I should wait until next week, because it is her hometown, and I'm sure they're going to continue the storyline with her. I would be crazy for not to continue something. She's going to show up next week for sure on the show. But like, as of like pretending she's not showing up next week, like pretending this is what they did with her, I think the return was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. That was disappointing. The fact that she looked basically the same gimmick. Oh yeah, she wrestled a great match. I thought she looked great in the ring, really good in the ring, by the way. But I saw very little to any character development with her in her return. Now, that could be because like she didn't have Lily there, right? So there was that, and like that could be just because, of course, they want to move forward here with this show this upcoming week, and that's going to change everything, right? That's the
hope,
I
think so, yeah.
Right, that's the hope. But like, it's not that. I mean, me and Steve talked about this for like hours. Like, we were talking about, like, do we want the goddess character back? And I said, I don't want the straight goddess back, but I want a hybrid of the goddess that can be the crazy once in a while. And that's why I thought they were going to go with it. And or even have a mask. I thought maybe there'd be a Lily mask involved somehow here. So I don't know. That's my opinions. I was very disappointed.
I legitimately believe they rushed her back for the Elimination Chamber without telling the whole story they wanted to tell, which is why it felt a little weird. I 100% agree with Botch Guy. It was underwhelming, and hopefully next week they will get the character back on track. Yeah, fix it, because it can be fixed. It's not ruined. It just was a little underwhelming for her return. But guys,
I do have to say, I think what WWE did was actually quite smart if they do pick it up Monday. Only because one thing they always book is these characters like Karrion Kross and The Fiend. And although they don't tell you, hey, these guys are undefeated for a long time, you have that perception that these guys are unbeatable and they should be, you know, on this big, long undefeated streak. And then when someone like The Fiend loses, instantly they're buried. Instantly they're done for.
Yep.
And having Alexa Bliss lose straight away, you've got rid of that now. So hopefully, going forward, they've got options. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they didn't make her seem like an unbeatable person right from the start. She has her flaws, which I think is kind of the whole point of the therapy sessions as well. She's a flawed individual, and that she needs to work on herself. So maybe this is just the start of something bigger for Alexa Bliss. But guys, thank you so much for joining me here today. This was a wonderful conversation. The poll is almost split right down the middle if people would be upset or not if he went back to AEW, him being Cody Rhodes. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks. Maybe he comes after WrestleMania. Maybe he comes before WrestleMania. But all we know is we're going to be watching. Thank you very much for tuning into the UnNamed Wrestling Podcast. Like we said, go subscribe to Botch Guy. Go subscribe to CWrestling. Check out all their content. Follow them on Twitter. It's great stuff. And especially with CWrestling when it comes to his theories, check him out. And Botch Guy with his reactions and his every fan. What is it called again? Every fan?
I need to come up with a catchier name. It's like, because I have it as every WWE fans, but really it should be every fans. But the reason I put WWE because of search engine optimization, right? So like it doesn't sound as nice, but the YouTube likes.
So what should we call it? Should we call it the Every Fan series?
The only fan series.
Yeah.
That would get me some clicks.
That would. All right, make sure you check out Botch Guy's OnlyFans then. And guys,
Demon priest.
Oh God. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you drop a like on this video, and we will be back the next time we are back, because we never know if we're going to be here on Wednesdays or not. Take care, my friends. Have yourself a wonderful day. I'm Con. He's Botch. He's CWrestling, and that was the UnNamed Wrestling Podcast.